The Arizona Coyotes decided they want to get a point in every single game played this week and did just that again tonight in a thrilling shootout loss to the Detroit Red Wings. Thank you so much for tuning in to the PHNX Coyotes postgame show, brought to you by the one and only DraftKings Sportsbook app, America's top-rated sportsbook app. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe wherever you get your podcasts, and leave us a 5-star review. The Arizona Coyotes are now 4-3-2 on this massive road trip. Kind of unprecedented by our standards, I guess, if you will. Initial takeaways from tonight's game.
Obviously, they got a big goal late in that game from Jakob Chychrun, but their power play struggled tonight, and I thought that might be the issue tonight. Detroit had 2 power play goals, and the Coyotes, I think, were over 4. But then they get the goal very late in the game from Jakob Chychrun to get a point out of it. So I guess all in all, it doesn't matter that much. Nice to see Jakob Chychrun get on the score sheet. That's obviously going to help his trade value. Also nice to see Nick Schmaltz still clicking. He had a goal and assist, I believe, tonight, if I saw the score sheet right. So a couple guys who just came back into the lineup producing for the Coyotes, and as a result, they get another point on the road trip.
Actually, Schmaltz ends up with 1 and 2 for 3 points tonight, so he's really
Look at him.
They added one on the Chychrun goal at the end to him. Ooh. So, yeah, you know what? It's kind of the thing we talked about is their starts are really hurting them. That first period ends up causing them again. You know, if they can get through that first period, the second they get better, and the third, I tell you what, they looked good. And you talk about that power play is the difference again tonight. For a power play that was so hot to start with, they're struggling to get goals on it now, and it's not that they're not getting their shots. They're getting shots and chances, and they're getting looks from the slot. Richie had a couple looks today. I thought Schmaltz had a look. They're just not able to get one in. I think that's the big difference in this one. But again, the exciting thing for me and the positive to take out of it is they're able to score a 6-on-5 goal. And this is something that Coyotes teams have struggled with over the last few years, is the ability to score with the extra man and the extra attacker. And that's a huge goal. And also it's a huge weight off Jakob Chychrun's shoulders getting that first goal of the season for him.
You know what another positive is tonight? I'm in dim lighting, so you guys can't see just how horrible I look right now after of doing housework.
See, I'm wondering that too. You're really dark. It's like I'm really.
Petey and I clearly have our ring lights.
I'm going bright.
No lights left.
It goes like light to dark.
My house is in chaos. I could take you on a tour of it right now and see what chaos it's in right now, because we have flooring coming in on Monday. There's like furniture jammed into 2 rooms. There's lights out everywhere. It's crazy here right now. At least I don't have paint on my face, because I thought that might be a possibility.
When you said face painting, I was kind of hoping for the Coyotes red and black and green.
Yeah, I know, me too. Like a
putty.
tiger or something.
Putty.
Yeah. Nice.
Like putty from...
Yep.
Oh, man, a little aside there. I think to talk about this game, we have to start at that last 2 minutes. Like that, the last 2 minutes and the overtime period were some of the most entertaining Coyotes hockey that I've watched all season. They were so on it, and I'm glad that it was Chychrun who got that goal, not just for all the reasons we want Chychrun to score. So, I saw a comment earlier about his trade value going up. He wanted one all night, and he was always in that spot on the circle, shooting on that power play, on that 6-on-5. And the pressure they put on the Red Wings, that was so impressive, because usually the other team can clear the puck and, waste some seconds, but the Coyotes were on them. And on the in overtime, they had a couple 2-on-1 opportunities. Jakob Chychrun had a chance to win it in the power play as well. So those last 7 minutes to me is what my takeaway from this game, and just how thrilling and exciting and fun it was to watch the Coyotes play hockey.
Was that a beer, Petey?
Yeah, I'm having a little
Very
four
nice.
peaks in my
Very
name, but Chychrun's arms have to be tired, like because that's every time the puck touched his stick, he was shooting like that. I gotta give it to him. That's 2 games in a row that he is just launching the puck over and over and over, and good things are going to happen if he gets pucks to the net. You know what? That's what they want him to do. That's why he's here. Get pucks to the net. And again, he had 11 shot attempts tonight. That's a lot. That's more than any other player on either team. I mean, Dylan Larkin had 9 shots that hit the net, but Chychrun ends up with 7 on net and 11 overall. He's doing what he's asked. And the other thing about Chychrun, since we're talking about him, he's +2 tonight, +3.
That's
last
another
night,
thing because
+5.
that's night and day from last season for him.
Yeah, and he ate 26 minutes of ice time tonight. So this is what you wanted from him. And I don't know if there's teams around the league looking. I'm sure that there are. So this is what you want. He gets the game tying goal. He gets 2 points. He's +2. He's 26 minutes ice, 11 shot attempts, almost 7 minutes on the power play tonight. People are looking. And if he continues to play like this, one, it's going to be good for the Coyotes because they're going to do better on the score sheet. And secondly, it's going to be better for everyone because it might give him an opportunity to get traded.
Yeah, it's cool to see how much of an impact both Schmaltz and Chychrun have had since they've been back in the lineup for 3 games. You know, that first game against Nashville, maybe they were both a little bit quieter, but, you know, it's hard to come back from any length of time out. But I feel like each game, both of them have gotten better and better. And now, you know, we saw it tonight with Chychrun's goal and an assist and Schmaltz's goal and 2 assists. You know, that's what we want to see from players who are getting paid what they're getting paid. And for someone like Chychrun, who we've been saying for months, he needs to play his way out. This was a good step in that direction. And hopefully he can, you know, pick up that or keep that pace going to benefit himself and to benefit the Coyotes. So I don't know. We're going to go a little out of order tonight because we're talking about Chychrun. I think we should go ahead and just crown him tonight's DraftKings king of the game. 1 goal, 1 assist, 11 shot attempts, like you mentioned, Petey. And good for Jakob Chychrun to earn the King's crown tonight. Long time coming.
That's actually really. I want to see that.
It's Craig laying Kyle right now.
Can we go back to that image again? Because that might be the best fit of a crown that we've had in our king of a game. Look at that. That's perfect.
Jakob Chychrun to the LA Kings confirmed.
Seriously. There's most of the time the crown looks like it's about to fall off somebody's head. It's just like resting on the side. That's perfect fit. Look at that. You guys fitted that beforehand. That's nice.
Yeah. Good job, Sean, on that one for sure.
Well, and Leah, you brought up 2 things. You brought up Chychrun coming back and adding to the offense and playing exactly the way he needed to after sitting out nearly 7 months. I mean, so give it to him on that. And Schmaltz, right where he left off last year with points, his skill just shows up. The problem I have is when Keller and Schmaltz start to get too cute. And I thought they did that at 2 or 3 different times tonight where they're looking for that one more pass or, hey, let's pass it through one more guy instead of delivering pucks to the net. And I wish they'd be a little bit more selfish instead of looking for that perfect play that they would shoot. And I thought it gets contagious because everybody wants to make the pretty play or like make it fancy. Let's get on SportsCenter. No, shoot the puck. And I think sometimes those two can get carried away with trying to be cute. When it works, it works. And it was money. Like the goal was great. Keller does the drop pass at the blue line. Great. Works out goal. But I think sometimes they just do it a little bit too much and they're going to have to learn to deliver pucks to the net. And sometimes it's got to be greasy instead of pretty.
Pete, to answer your earlier question, I'm not laying tile, but I am keeping an eye on the ASU Minnesota game because Ryan Alexander just scored for the Sun Devils to pull them within 3-2. So it's a frantic finish at the Mullet tonight against the number 2 Gophers.
We will keep tabs on that as it goes along and talk more about that a little bit later in the show. But we've talked about some specifics already. Let's talk about everything as a whole and look at tonight by the numbers. 36 shots on goal by the Red Wings to the Coyotes 23. I think the thing that really stands out here is that the Red Wings were 2 for 4 on the power play and the Coyotes were 0 for 4 on the power play. Coyotes power play has been MIA recently. They had, the shots, they had the energy, but they just need to get that one. They just need to get one in, and hopefully that'll start them going again. But again, and I've seen a few comments about this in the chat here and in the Discord earlier, they just have to stay out of the box. Like they just take so many penalties, and you can't do that if your PK is going to allow, 50% every single night. So hits 24 Coyote for the Coyotes, 17 for the Red Wings. That one hit that stands out for me was the McBain hit in the first period was crazy. But yeah, the power play and penalty kill thing is the line here that really stands out to me.
When you look at the numbers, the other thing, Leah, and this is a problem that's been since day one, is they're giving up too many shots on goal against, and it happens game after game after game. You look at this road trip, how many is it now? How many games? 4? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 4. That's 4 straight over 35 shots on goal. You can't sustain that. Like, you can't give up that many shots against every single night and expect to come out of the win. So that's one thing they're going to have to do. And how do they do that? They need to manage the puck better. They need to have control of the puck, and you can't take that many penalties. And it's the penalties. You're okay with McBain getting in a fight and taking that. That's okay. Like, physical, take that penalty, but it's the stick fouls that start to get it. The high sticking penalties or hooking and clutching and grabbing. That stuff's got to go.
Or 2 in the last game for puck over the glass.
Yeah, or Cassian today. Cassian just takes the extra swipe at the back of the head. That he doesn't have to do that. I mean, again, you got to walk that line, play between the whistles, play tough, play hard, but you can't set in the box. And clearly, the difference tonight was the power play, 2 for 4 and 0 for 4. I mean, it's a tie game. That's the difference. So if you're out of the box or you convert on your power play, it's a different game. Yeah,
and credit to Karel Vejmelka, who had another phenomenal game tonight. Obviously he got the shutout last game. Didn't quite have that tonight, but he saved 33 of 36 and came up on some unbelievable saves. Like, some of those saves weren't just, fluke saves. He really kept them in it.
It's funny because I watched Karel Vejmelka again today, and sometimes I don't know how he does it. It's complete athleticism, and he is so busy. Like, we talked about him busy and sliding. There was one time Dylan Larkin took the puck around the net. Larkin's going to the left. Vejmelka's going to the right. Where are you going? And then he slides all the way back to the left outside the blue paint, and then all the way back to the right. It's unreal how much he skates around. I like to put a little tracker on him and see how much time he's actually spending outside the blue paint, because it's a lot. I mean, there's a couple things with that. One, you give up the goal like he does, that wrist shot over his glove side. How does that happen? If you go watch the highlights of it, he's moving to the left. The puck's going to the right. I have no idea how he ends up out of the crease on a stationary shot from the top of the circle. I have no idea. Well, I don't know how he slides. Craig, I want you to watch that one later. The wrist shot, the second goal of the game. He's sliding to his left, and the puck. It's a stationary shot from the top of the circle. I still don't get it. But that's one thing he's going to have to clean up, because 1, you get really tired, and 2, you get goals like that.
You expend a lot of energy when you play like that.
Yes,
That's exactly
you expend so much energy. And when you're giving up 36 to 40 shots a game and you're sliding all over, you're going to get exhausted. And so I'd love to see Karel Vejmelka start to stay a little bit more in the blue paint, even take a step back closer to the goal line. He's 6'5". I wish he would use that to his advantage. And when you're sliding around, you're not using your size. And that, he is still... His numbers in November have been phenomenal, and he was fantastic and made unbelievable saves. I just think he could make an easier game for himself if he would learn to just stay put.
How much of that is coaching, Petey? How much do they have to work? Or does Corey have a different style? Is he ask him to do different things than maybe Sean Burke and Benoit Allaire did before him?
I don't know. I think that's from what we saw from Karel Vejmelka when he first got into the league. This is him. I mean, that's how he plays. And so I'm not in those coaching sessions with, and see what Corey's doing with him. But Corey's not like that. Like, he doesn't try to put that into his game. I know he's not far back to the goal line like Sean Burke had goalies play, where their toes or heels were almost touching the goal line. He doesn't have guys to that extent, but I can't imagine that he's wanting to have that. Again, we keep using the term busy, but you see a goalie sliding outside of the blue paint that consistently. It's something he's going to have to learn. I honestly believe if he doesn't get that under control over time, he's been able to get away with it now because he's young and he's unbelievably athletic and unbelievably quick. So he can do it now. But I think over time, I just don't know how successful that can be for him.
All right. I love how everything tonight, I'm like, they did so great with this. And PD
I
says,
know.
yes,
Sorry.
but, and then
Sorry.
it's okay.
We're
Playing our roles on this. You know, I bring the good, you temper it.
Debbie Downer. Sorry.
It's okay. JJ Moser also got on the score sheet tonight, assisted by Keller and Schmaltz. And Arizona Coyotes PR put out a really interesting stat today on their Twitter. So there's a list of Coyotes who record 20 plus points within the first 19 games of their season. So since 1996-97, Clayton Keller now joins that list, but also on the list, Vladislav Nagy. Am I saying that right?
You are saying that right.
Okay. Jeremy Roenick, Travis Green, Jeremy Roenick, Keith Tkachuk. So how about that for some company?
Yeah, I got one question, and I'd like to ask him in person. What's Travis Green doing on that list?
Exactly. Is that a typo? Let's check with Travis Green on that. Is that a typo? Wow. And it's been almost 20 years. It's been almost 20 years since that has happened. And that's an unbelievably impressive list. I mean, Tkachuk twice, Roenick twice, and Ladislav Nagy. And I know, and Leah doesn't really know him, but when he came over from St. Louis, I mean,
So
unbelievably talented hockey player, if not for a devastating wrist injury that he had actually, ironically, in St. Louis. I don't know what he would have done in his career. Like he was very, very talented offensive player, and it's a great list. And Clayton Keller, he just gets his points, and it's 20 points in 19 games. That's absolutely impressive. So yeah, he's doing what he wanted to do.
Yeah. Speaking of Jeremy Roenick, there's a guy on Detroit, Philip Hronek.
Yeah.
And every time they said it on the broadcast, I was thinking, what?
Yeah,
it was so confusing.
My wife said the same thing. Is he related? I'm like, not even spelled the same.
I was like, is it? Yeah, I literally I had to go pull up the Red Wings roster to find out who it was because it was driving me nuts.
That's unreal. Hronek.
Well, if you bet the Coyotes puck line in this game, good for you, because you would have won some money. If you bet on the Wildcats today, you would have won some money. As ambulances go behind me, so sorry about that. They are but if you also want to win some money, you can do so on the DraftKings Sportsbook app. And right now, new customers who use the code PHNX and place a $5 bet on any NFL team to win their game can get $150 in free bets if they do. That's only at DraftKings Sportsbook with code PHNX. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details. I actually won a 3-leg teaser yesterday for the Thanksgiving games, so that made it a little more fun to be invested in those games that I might not have otherwise cared about. But of course, I care about the Buffalo Sabres for Sean's sake. And it's a very busy sports week with the World Cup going on and all of that. But I will actually be at Four Peaks tomorrow to watch Mexico take on Argentina at the PHNX and Four Peaks World Cup watch party. That's happening tomorrow. Right now, the tickets are actually, it says sold out on the Eventbrite, but you can still show up. It's kind of first come, first serve. That's only to sit right by that 22-foot screen, but you can still come to Four Peaks. You can still mention you're there for PHNX to get those beer specials. That's at the A Street Pub. $3 kit lifter and Wowie pints and giveaways, guest appearances. So join us starting tomorrow at 11 a.m. at Four Peaks. And if you want more details, you can check the link below in our description. And of course, if you're going to drink, you must be 21 or older and enjoy responsibly.
I watched so much sports on television today, by the way.
Literally,
games, right? Yeah, it was crazy.
I can't keep up.
Watch the toilet bowl. I mean, the Territorial Cup. Watched ASU hockey, and there it is.
Wow, look at Leah repping the Wildcats.
I didn't go to ASU. I don't care. But that was a really entertaining game.
It really was.
Two really bad teams.
Sean's throwing up the forkum below.
Depends on who you bet on and how exciting that was. But
it
no,
was a good game.
Exciting, of just back and forth. It
was one of the better ones.
When U of A goes for it on fourth down, it doesn't get it, and ASU got the ball back. I'm like, oh my god, the Sun Devils are still gonna win this, and this is they turned the ball over 5 times. They were so undisciplined. They had so many penalties. All the issues that you saw with this era came out with ASU today. and they still had a chance to win it. They had the game in their hands, like near midfield at the end of the game. It's a crazy game today.
It was one of the more entertaining territorial cups that we've seen in years. So I enjoyed it for sure. Yeah. Petey, we didn't get to this yet. I want to go over your keys. You actually already mentioned one, which had to do with the quick start. But I'll throw it over to you to go over your keys.
It's becoming a common theme now. They need to have a better first period. And it shows in the stats. They have not won when they're trailing after the first period. And so clearly I would think the push would be, hey, we need to do something positive in the first period. And to me, that's manage the puck better and get pucks in deep. And Tyson Nash talks about the forecheck all the time. It's clearly something they need to do. Play fast. I've been watching a lot of Detroit stuff, and their defense gets so involved in the offense that sometimes they forget to defend, especially off the rush. And I was hoping that the Coyotes, with some of their speed, especially like a Lawson Krause getting his goal off the rush the other night, I thought might get some chances off the rush. That didn't really come to fruition. And we talked about their defense creating offense for Detroit, and I thought they did it again tonight with Ronick Osterley. I mean, they're getting their shots in through the point. It's an area that the Coyotes really needed to pay attention to, was their D from the back end. And I don't know if they were successful with that either, with Detroit getting 2 goals from their defensemen.
Petey, I'm disappointed there's no pizza shots in Petey's keys.
Do you know what? So what we're going to do for
collage,
Sunday,
buddy. There's a whole
there
collage.
is the pizza collage. There is a Petey likes pepperoni. That's a thing. So what we're going to, and actually I have a really good picture of me in Detroit. What we did is we take a picture in every arena in the NHL, and it's on a collage of me. Pizza, which I don't have as much anymore because I'm trying to be healthier.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, you're way too healthy around us.
Except for when we have Mountain Mike's every other,
but that
when they
count.
Deliver to the PHNX offices.
Count.
That doesn't count. That's money pizza.
It's funny, Petey, because remember earlier in the season, it was like the unspoken key was that goaltending needed to be great. And now I saw in the Discord today, someone said, I think we can add another unspoken key, which is that the Coyotes need to stay out of the box. And I think
you're right.
Based on our conversation earlier,
you're right.
we can pencil that one into a always on the board key.
And it seems like it's in the first period too, that they always, something causes them a problem.
Always in the first 5 minutes.
They're going to have to do that. But that happens because you don't have the puck. You don't take as many penalties if you got the puck. So you don't give up shots if you have the puck. You don't take up penalties. So you manage the puck better. So let's hope. I agree with you, Leah. Just cut down on the penalties. Yeah.
Well, we need to talk about kind of an elephant in the room, which is that the Arizona Coyotes have 4 points this week. And everyone in the chat earlier and in Discord especially, some people I think are starting to hit the panic button a little. I mean, if you pull up the standings, it's not so bad, but Anaheim lost again tonight, 5-1. Anaheim may never win a game in regulation again. that they just might. But you know, the Coyotes, we always talk about the team itself, the locker room, the coaching staff. They have no part of the tank. They want to win games. But do you have any concern that the Coyotes are winning too much? Or do you think maybe they're winning now, but the players that are boosting their trade value and Bill Armstrong might ship them out? Or is this just a fluke and it's going to pass?
Yes.
And back to you, Bob.
I mean, I look at the standings. There's 2 points. They're 2 points away from 31st, right, with Columbus. So it's like the Ducks are the one team you're like, okay, that's going to be the team this year that finishes, because the Coyotes never finish with the worst record in the league and never give themselves the best odds to get the best player in the draft. Because I don't know why. I don't know why this always happens. But listen, it's no guarantee that you're going to win the lottery anyway, and there's plenty of time. That if they keep manufacturing points like this on the road, though, it gives you a little bit of a concern. I mean, guys, if they come home from this road trip, like basically,
and we saw how well they played at Mullet for those 4 games,
and they will have played like half of their road schedule by the time they get back. So, yeah, that's a little concerning.
Yeah, I'm going to agree, because what I thought was going to happen, I know they had that good little stretch at the Mullet, but I thought for sure this 14-game road trip was going to be the end of them. I really saw this being maybe a 2-win in 14 games. I thought they were going to come home from 14-game road trip in last. I thought that was going to be the difference. Okay, they got a couple of wins. Power play was a little hot, and now it's going to come back to reality. The problem is that's not happening. And why? They're generating offense, which they didn't do a year ago. They are able to score goals this year. They never had that in the last couple of seasons. So that's the one big problem. Two, and I said this before, they're all doing it together. And when it's us against the world, I don't write anybody out. And there's somebody different every night that is the hero. Tonight it was Chychrun gets the goal at the end of the game. The other night it was Kraus.
Don't
and
forget
the other night,
Bukestad.
Keller and Schmaltz and Bukestad.
Boogie.
So it's somebody different.
How could you forget Boogie?
Well, you're right. And last year was Keller. Last year was Keller and Schmaltz. And if they didn't score, this team didn't score.
That's
but right now
true.
it's somebody different every night. And honestly, when they get home with that kind of home stand and in that building, and teams are going to come in and have a good party time in Scottsdale, and then they're going to try to play the next day, and the Coyotes are going to get their wins. I don't think the Coyotes are getting 32nd. I don't see it. I don't see Anaheim coming out of the cellar.
Either do
The tank is not going to survive this. And honestly, don't be surprised if they're 30th. Then what?
All right.
Bill Armstrong needs to blow it up.
Gonna pay another visit to Bill Daly's office and have a chat.
See if you get the balls to drop.
You just slide some magnets across the table.
Whatever it takes. Whatever it takes.
We'll take one for the team. I want to read this comment from Terrence. Said, greetings from Windsor, Ontario, just south of Detroit. Watched the game, and the Detroit announcers were amazed at how good the Coyotes play. Nothing but respect from them throughout the game. So
it's true.
Thanks for sharing that, Terrence.
This team works hard, and you're seeing, that their ability to continue to not give up. And that's something we saw again last year. A lot of differences from last year's team where they were behind, they didn't come back. It just didn't happen. And their ability to come back from 1 and 2 goal deficits this season has been phenomenal. And they do it because they don't stop. And I keep saying the way Coach Tournier has built this team, he's got them believing right now. When you have a team that believes and you're getting good goaltending, you can't count them out. And do I think this is a playoff team? No, they're not going to be a playoff team. But I also don't think they're going to be in 32nd when the last game of the season comes across either. This team has an opportunity to win games. And last year, I think we felt sitting in the studio watching games that, this team might never win. And I think we felt that a lot last year. Like, oh my God, this team might never get a win. And this year, you just don't feel that.
No.
Wanted to sidetrack for just a minute here. And I know this is a guy that you got to know pretty well, Petey. It was good to see Jordan Osterley get on the score sheet tonight.
First time since I think it was March or something that he scored.
So Osterley, if Petey remembers this, you remember the bubble. Obviously, you remember a lot of things about the playoff bubble. But Jordan Osterley, I remember Rick Tocchet, the coaching staff, really saying he was our best defenseman in the playoff bubble. He had a terrific postseason, and that it didn't carry over into the next season. And come to find out that he was dealing that whole season with his sister having been diagnosed or a recurrence of cancer that it made its way into her spine. It was just an awful situation for the family that he was dealing with the whole year. Just good to see Jordan thriving. I tried to check in on his sister, trying to find out how she's doing. It sounded like something that she was going to deal with, but she was going to manage to be okay. So, like I said, just good to see Jordan Osterley back on the score sheet. Really, really good guy.
And not just on the score sheet, and you talked about his personal stuff too. He also had concussion issues, and you go, gosh, he wasn't the same player, and he was at the peak of his career. He was playing his best hockey, and all of these things started to happen. So he's a wonderful human being. Love to see this happening for him right now, that he's playing good hockey again right now, and I hope things are going well for him because I really like the kid.
Yeah, so good to see him on the score sheet for Detroit tonight. If the Coyotes are going to get goals against like that, at least it's from a friend of you guys and a former Coyote. Just going back quickly to the getting points thing, when they were in those final seconds and they just were on the Red Wings, I was thinking, this is so great. I'm extremely entertained. They're going to make it really close. They made it an exciting end of the game, and they're gonna lose, and it'll be great. And then Jakob Chychrun scored, which is good for its own reasons. I was thinking, they could have just kept it how it was, and it would have been perfect. So I don't know. I'm kind of on the same page as Craig. Yes, all of the above, but we'll see, because I think Bill Armstrong he's always I just picture him always watching from above and thinking and taking notes, and he has his plans. So
and Jakob Chychrun's starting to build a little bit of a sample here for people to see. But in terms of the road trip, I mean, you mentioned the record. There's only 5 games left on this road trip now. There's only 5 games left. I mean, unless they just completely collapse now, they're going to have a decent road trip.
Let's pull up the road trip map while we're talking about it, because we've done this where we go through the exercise and think, oh, where are the wins coming? Where are the losses coming? They only have one game left of this little segment before they come home to reset for a couple of days. And then it's on to LA, Vancouver, Calgary, and Edmonton, all of which are not having like the strongest seasons ever, which I guess like it doesn't really matter. The Coyotes have beat good teams and they've beat bad teams, but I don't know. I could see another win in the next 5 here.
Yep. Well, 4 wins and two shootout losses, they could drop the next 5, and this is a successful road trip, my man. And I don't think they're going to drop the next 5, but even if they did, this is a huge road trip for them. For them to come home with more than 5 points on this trip, that's what I had them pegged for him, for two wins and a shootout or an overtime loss, 5 points, and they blew that away.
Yeah.
And I can see them winning in Minnesota on Sunday.
Yeah, I can see a couple more wins on this road trip. I could see them going 500 on this road trip, which is insane.
I can too.
That's crazy. And Kenny in the chat said it's hard to not cheer when they do well, but you hate it for the tank. And it's such an uncomfortable position to be in as a fan. And Petey, you mentioned it last season. It was kind of easier because they just lost a ton. So when they won, you could enjoy it. This season, you're like, okay. I don't know. So we'll see.
It was just them in Montreal. Like the two of them had separated themselves from everybody else so early that it was like, oh, the two of them, they win once in a while. But now, look how they're just behind Buffalo now. And this Buffalo, we talked about being a wagon, Sean. We talked about them being a wagon not too long ago, and they're 1 point behind Buffalo.
Sean's giving the thumbs down.
I don't know. It is. I can't believe I'm saying this. I said over the summer, and I said up to the preseason, this team is bad, and they're going to get last.
We thought they were worse
away with it
than last season.
I did.
We all did, I think. We'll see. Still early.
Trade everybody.
Blow it up, Bill. Bill the builder, except Bill the destructor, I guess. At least when the Coyotes do return to Mullet, they won't have to deal with water leaks in their brand new facility, Craig, that are maybe happening at Desert Diamond Arena, formerly known as Gila River Arena. We have some lovely footage here of leaks.
Boy.
This is at the former
This is, of course,
Gila
timely
River.
Because there's a water main break at Bridgestone Arena and the Nashville Predators game was canceled. But, hey, a more local arena has some water issues as well that occurred recently.
Okay, boy. I saw the video, Craig, but it hasn't rained in the valley in how long?
No.
It's recent. It's not that recent, but I just thought, with it being timely with Bridgestone, I thought I'd mention, the last time it rained in the valley, here's what was going on over at Desert Diamond.
Whoops.
And meanwhile, Mullet Arena is a beautiful, state-of-the-art, brand new facility. And yes, like in Nashville, they had to postpone the Predators Avalanche game today. Can you imagine the outrage if that happened in Arizona due to a building issue?
Yeah.
We say this again and again. If this was the Coyotes, imagine.
Move the team.
Relocate them. So.
Well, they did. They did across town. Just saying.
You know what, Craig? You're right. Well, hopefully none of the furniture was damaged in either of those buildings. And if so, I hope it wasn't more furniture because that's too valuable to be damaged. We had a great time today watching the World Cup and the Territorial Cup. There were, I think, 7 of us on the More Furniture recliners. Seriously, the best place to watch sports. And they have a Black Friday deal, More Furniture, going on right now. It's still Black Friday. You can save up to 50% off at your local Arizona More Furniture showroom. So if you're looking for some new furniture to redecorate, to give as a gift, check out morefurniture.com to preview the daily deals all this week and into Cyber Weekend. And speaking of Black Friday and Cyber Weekend, there are some unbelievable deals in the PHNX locker right now. First of all, sweaters. How long have we been talking about sweaters and hoodies? They are here.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, hoodies.
I am all over the hoodies.
They've arrived. The hoodies have arrived. There's 4. And if you're a diehard, I think there's a diehard only zip-up sweater as well. And then people have also been asking for PHNX shirts. So now there is a PHNX hoodie and a PHNX t-shirt. So all of that dropped today in the PHNX locker, as well as everything else is on sale up to 90% off. There is a shirt in the locker right now. This is not fake, for 99 cents. So when we say up to 90% off, we truly mean it. Hats, $10 off, shirts up to 90% off. Like I said, it's seriously an unbelievable deal. You want to get in there today, check out the PHNX locker. And right now, when you spend $75, you get a $15 gift card. So if you're thinking today, I did a huge haul buying for all my family. They're all going to get PHNX shirts and hats. Spoiler alert to those watching. But get it now because it's going to sell out quickly. The size you want is going to sell out quickly. So head on over to PHNX locker, open a new tab right now while you're listening, while you're watching, and add stuff to the cart before it's all gone on phnxlocker.com.
Okay. What, like, we work there. Is it not true that we work at All City?
Yes.
How did we not know that the sweatshirts were up? Like,
because we got to find out when
on the 90, I hit the thing and I go, oh shit, the sweatshirts are out. Something scrambling. It said sold out soon. So yes, I filled up my cart.
And Craig, before you say anything, if you're a diehard, you get an additional 20% off Black Friday and Cyber Weekend discounts. So I seriously, like, the amount of discounts you can get on the PHNX locker this weekend, especially if you're a diehard, it's worth becoming a diehard today. Just for that, you can grab your free shirt, you can grab your free hat, and then load up on merch with your extra 20% off as a diehard, which also gets you access, of course, to the Discord, to the premium content on the website, and discounts on merch and events across the board. So what were you going to say, Craig?
I just want to get our stories straight here, because when my kids open their hoodies, they're under the understanding that these were very expensive threads, okay? And that's the story that you're going to roll
that you did not buy them on Black Friday.
No. Oh, what? What's that?
I don't even think they're part of the sale unless you're a diehard.
Buddy. So expensive.
So bougie.
Everything I bought was so expensive. Okay.
I tell you what,
story we're rolling with, okay?
It's PHNX Christmas around here for sure.
Oh yeah, my whole family.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Can't wait. I don't know. I can't wait for the hoodies. I know they ship the first week of December, so I will be in the studio repping my hoodie.
They are sweet. I'm jacked about those. I am jacked about the hoodies.
Get on there. Well, we've been teasing a little bit, talking about the ASU hockey game. It is a final, Minnesota 3, ASU 2. Kudos to ASU for coming back and making it a close game. Minnesota is one of the top teams in the country. But Logan Cooley, if we're going to go from the Coyotes angle, all eyes on him this weekend. He had a goal and an assist. And not only did he have a goal, he scored a Michigan goal. And if you watched our interview with Logan Cooley on Tuesday, we asked him about the Michigan. So it's just crazy that he happened to score one this weekend. It's so rare. We asked him about renaming the Michigan, and then he went out and did it. So that was
unbelievable. Did you see Steven in the chat said soon to be known as the Arizona?
Ooh.
There you go. See,
I like it.
I don't hate that.
We're into rebranding things around here, obviously.
I know. So, we really are.
Yeah.
I don't hate that.
We really are. So tough loss for ASU, who had a tough weekend last weekend against Clarkson. But I guess, they kept it close.
Are we do we have tape of the Logan Cooley, Michigan? Are we rolling that?
It's on our Twitter. No, we don't have it for the show because we don't want to get a copyright.
Okay.
But
if you would have let us go with it. But
if you haven't seen it, head on over to either the Minnesota Gophers Twitter or we retweeted it on PHNX_Coyotes.
Yeah, bittersweet tonight, right? Nice to see Logan Cooley get on the goal and an assist tonight for Minnesota, and any Coyotes fans in attendance got to get a glimpse of their highest draft pick from last season, and literally they've never picked higher than 3, as we've stated a million times on this show. But it's nice to get a chance to look at a guy in his draft year live. That doesn't happen around here a lot. The problem is he did it against ASU, and ASU's lost 3 straight games now, guys. They're a 500 team. They got Minnesota again tomorrow night. Leah and I will be there for that game.
And Sean.
Yeah, and Sean too, who's not appearing on the screen here right now. But
he's down there.
After this, they go to Denver. They go on the road for 4 games, and they're 7-7 now. ASU's in trouble. We talked about this. The series loss at Clarkson, losing back-to-back games, that's hurting them right now. They have to find a way to make that up, and right now they're in a spot. they're in a tough spot right now because they've got some really tough games coming up, and they can really fall behind the 8 ball too much here. And I'm not sure there'll be enough time left for them to rally.
Yeah, we talked about them early in the year. They had to win the games at home and split on the road, and now they're going to have to win games they weren't supposed to win if they're going to try to get into the tournament. We talked about Logan Cooley, but if you get a chance to see Connor Geeky, his goal tonight in Winnipeg. Holy
also
cow.
retweeted on the PHNX Coyotes account if you missed that.
Go check out all these draft picks, and that's, again, what this rebuild's about. Logan Cooley, Connor Geeky tonight. Unbelievable goals. That backhand that Connor Geeky had in Winnipeg tonight was phenomenal. These young guys are playing well. You've talked about Gunther. We talk about him all the time. Michelli, I know he sat out of the lineup again tonight. The future's there. These young kids there's some really good hockey players coming their way to Arizona here in the next few years. So just hang in there. And in the meantime, watch the really cool highlights.
This is a good time to mention that my next prospect report is coming out on Monday. So
it's a great time to mention that.
It is. Yeah. And
did you do a Connor Bedard on that too, or no?
Wait, Craig, is the prospect report for diehards only, or is it free?
It is for It is for diehards only.
Okay.
Yep. So we're going to be looking at Maximilian Zuber.
Best name.
Emil Martin Lilleberg. Yeah, these are fun names to pronounce, right? Right. And then Mika Matika.
Who
right?
ASU? That's who ASU will see in Denver, though, right?
Yeah, he's going to Denver next year. So yeah. So had a chance to talk to Lee Stempniak and Curtis McDermott today, and I'll talk to their respective coaches as well. But that's the next prospect report coming out on Monday.
And Craig, you also published a story about where Logan Cooley ranks in Coyotes prospects. So a lot of prospect focus. Which is great as we remind ourselves why we want the Coyotes to lose in a time that we struggle to celebrate and be upset at the same time. The complexities of being an Arizona Coyotes fan and follower.
HK till draft day.
HK till draft day, except we kind of K. But
kind of K. You said a comment, Craig, that Stevenson and Michelli better play against Minnesota. Does Michelli get back in?
I think so.
I do too.
I think he stayed scratched too because Coach Cherney likes to keep the lineup the same.
Yep, because they won.
Yeah.
Yep.
So.
And if I had to guess, it'd be Dylan Gunther.
Dylan Gunther. Yeah. Same for me. I thought he looked light again tonight.
Yeah, he had a better game last game, and then today he was in the box. Yep. He had a couple chances, but we'll see. I guess we'll see what happens as the Coyotes look to take on PD's Minnesota.
And is our goaltender change?
Probably.
Does Ingram?
I mean, especially when you look at the turnout, this was a late start, and Sunday is an early start. That's a tough turnaround, I would guess. As they call him, Iggy. I guess Connor Ingram's going to be in goal. That would be my guess.
Yeah, I would think so too. But as we've done many times on the show, we've been wrong.
We shall see.
So we shall see.
Well, we started a new line of the punch card with this game today, starting it off with another loss, just like all of the other lines of the punch card. And as Charles mentioned earlier in the show, maybe each line needs one overtime or shootout lost point. So maybe we'll brush that aside. That'll be done and see what happens the rest of this. But as far as HK till draft day, we still have a lot of games to go.
Lord. Can we fast forward?
Yeah, wouldn't it be nice? Wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah. So
it's a long way to go.
Long way to go, but we're here in it together. And yeah, we'll break it all down, break each game down. And do you guys have any other thoughts from tonight's game? Because we kind of got off subject.
No, they got to get the power play going. It's critical that the power play gets on the score sheet. I think against Minnesota, I think that's something that was a key to their success early in the year that's kind of slipped. I thought there were two games where I didn't think they moved the puck very well. I thought tonight again there were chances on the power play, so that's encouraging. But they're going to need to get the power play back on track to start getting back in the win column.
Or not.
Or not.
If you're future focused.
Or not.
But they could do all those things, but then lose.
Yep.
Like, let's improve. Let's get the power play back. Let's make improvements. Keep it close and exciting, but then lose in regulation.
Yeah.
We'll see. we will see. Well, if you want to get into Mullet Arena, you can do so tomorrow. We actually checked game time today, and the ASU hockey tickets were significantly cheaper. And I'd been checking game time like for weeks because I was really curious about the price of those tickets. They were a little bit pricier all week. And then today they were like, they had dropped by almost 50%, which I always sit here and say, save up to 60% on tickets when you buy them last minute on game time. And
like, what are you seeing? What kind of prices were you seeing?
It was like all week, it was like 130.
Right.
So that's pretty expensive for college hockey. And then today we saw 76. So almost 50% drop on the day of the game. So if you've kind of been on the fence about going, check game time tomorrow, because that's when it will be the cheapest. And there are still seats available for that matchup. So hopefully Logan Cooley can pull something off again like he did tonight, but hopefully ASU gets the win tomorrow night. We'll see. Like we said, Craig and Sean and I will be at the game, so let us know if you're coming, and if you're going to go, use the link in our description to buy your tickets. It's the best way to support us, and I promise you, you will not find tickets cheaper anywhere else than on Game Time. And Kenny said he saw them for $65 today, so you can find them on Game Time for sure. Well, that's it for us tonight. Thank you all so much for being here in the chat on Black Friday. I hope you grab your hoodies and your V-neck shirts from the locker before they're gone. We will be back Sunday for the postgame show after the Minnesota Wild game and have some content always for you on PHNX_Coyotes on Twitter. And also, if you want ASU hockey content, PHNX_Sun Devils on Twitter. Sean, like I said, will be at the game. So lots of ASU hockey coverage, and we'll see how Josh Doan plays tomorrow as well, all-city athlete. But of course, follow PHNX Sports across all social platforms. You can follow each of us at Leah Merrill, at S. Peters Hockey, at Craig S. Morgan, at Sean_DePaz. Like, subscribe, follow, etc. Enjoy the rest of your Friday, everybody, and we'll see you soon.